So welcome. This is Kathy Davis. Welcome to our December 8th, it's hard to believe it's December, 2022 Inspiring Author Conversation. I am Kathy Davis with Davis Creative Publishing Partners. Today we'll be speaking with Mary Nunaley about using animated video to promote your book and your book launch. Before I welcome Mary, I just want to remind everybody of a few logistics. The call is being recorded. You will receive a link to the YouTube video within about 48 hours after the call. Your attendance at these meetings serves as your permission to be seen in the recording. Please mute yourself if you're not already muted. Please find your chat button at the bottom of your screen and drop any questions into that chat room, and I will help monitor that chat room and make sure that we get all your questions answered. Our theme for 2022 and probably next year also will continue to be inspiring authors. Each month we welcome guests who are either an inspiring author or someone who helps to inspire authors by sharing their knowledge, expertise, and wisdom. Please help me welcome Mary Nunaley. Mary is a master instructional designer, gamification aficionado, speaker, and business owner. She and her son, Amadeus, have been delighting audiences with their courses for 5 years. When not behind the computer, Mary is learning the art of ballroom dancing. Sounds like an awesome life, Mary.
It is. It is. We have so much fun.
And
And
Nashville has to be a fun place.
It definitely is a fun place. So, as Kathy mentioned, I'm in Nashville, and I have been in one of your books in 2020, and I'm also going to be a chapter in an upcoming book. So, this is a perfect, opportunity to give back and also say thank you for letting me play along.
Awesome. You're not only an inspiring author, but you are helping us to inspire authors. So I greatly appreciate you being here today.
It is my pleasure.
So using animated video to promote our book and our book launch, where do we start with that?
Excellent. So I will get started. First of all, animated video. When you think about animated video, oftentimes, if you're a certain age, you think about cartoons. Younger people think about anime or something like that. But if you've spent any time online on social media or whatever, you'll see ads pop up for things like Doodly or Toonly or Powtoons or something like that. Create your animated video in just a few minutes, and you definitely can. And one of the reasons that I'm really excited about this topic is that in the next couple of years, especially, we are going to be vying more and more for people's attention, fighting through that digital clutter. And one way to get that message across is through something that's just a little bit different than just a talking head video, which a lot of folks have gotten used to, or, a Facebook Live or a LinkedIn Live, something like that. So what we're going to do over the next 30 minutes or so is talk about animated video, get some thoughts from you. And then I'm also going to show some examples. And at the end of the session, I'm going to send Kathy a number that pops into my head. Whichever of you is closest to it is going to get a free little animated thank you video that you can use with your book that we will create together in real time. So that's sort of just a you're here, so somebody gets a prize. And we'll get started. So first of all, you can use the chat, you can raise your hand. Which platforms do you use for both consuming video? So we'll do that first. How many of you use YouTube to consume video? Okay, I think most of us probably use YouTube. What about Facebook? Reels, things like that, shorter. Okay. What about Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay. What about TikTok? All right. So the reason I asked this question is that if you're promoting your book, if you're promoting your book launch, you have to think about A, where are people going? And then B, what sites are they using? And so even though I may not use TikTok myself to spend time on, if I realize that the target audience for my book is spending a lot of time there, then I might want to consider creating some short TikTok videos to promote and share my book. And so it's really getting out of that comfort zone of what do I like to use versus where is my audience? And so I want you to think about this. And we're really focusing on short form videos. So videos that are under 1 minute long. The other thing with animated video is you can use them in your email signatures. If it's under a minute long, it's a small enough video size that in emails that you send to your email list, to possible book purchasers, for speaking gigs, you can put a short little video or animated GIF or GIF, depending on what side of the fence you fall on, in your email to capture that audience's attention, because we don't usually do that. And if you don't use talking, if you use closed captions, then the people can watch the video and they don't even have to listen to you. So it's not going to interrupt their workflow or their flow of the day. And I'm going to show you some examples of that as we go through this. So the other question is, what sites does your audience use? Most people, YouTube's been around for a very long time now in terms of digital years. Most people know to go to YouTube. And if you don't know, YouTube is the second largest search engine currently on the planet. So you've got Google, you've got YouTube, and then you have everything else. People are going to YouTube to be entertained, to be educated, to discover new things. But the discovery process really is happening on TikTok more so than on YouTube. So if I go to YouTube myself, I'm usually looking for something specific. I need to know how to do this. And then I'm going to go look for a YouTube video. And Kathy mentioned I'm learning how to ballroom dance. So before my dance lessons, I will go, okay, I can't remember what I got taught in my last lesson. I go to YouTube, I go, okay, how do you do the basic cha-cha? Because my instructor's going to go, Mary, you haven't been practicing. And I'll be, you're right, I haven't been. But I can watch a YouTube video and get the steps. And then I can go to my lesson and feel like I'm a semi-competent human being. So think about the usages too. So again, I'm focusing on more short term because trends are saying that's where people are going. And people want that, I've got the attention span of a gnat kind of mindset right now. We've got so much coming at us. Short form video is the way to go. All right. So did you know? According to Design Shack, which is a marketing platform, short form videos are expected to continue trending through at least 2025. Reels, which is what you see on Facebook and Instagram, their short form video are continue to grow. Not at the pace that Mark Zuckerberg was hoping for, but they are still growing. And Facebook and Instagram are doing some things to kind of force people to watch Reels. So that's another thing to keep in mind. TikTok has more than 1 billion users per month. Now, this is globally. I'm not going to get into the pros and cons of TikTok, security, that kind of thing, but it is something to be aware of that with 1 billion users, that's a lot of people that might discover your content. Short, fast-paced marketing videos are the way to go. Think about back when we were watching commercials before, you had DVRs and stuff. Commercials are typically 30 to 60 seconds. They got right to the point. They grabbed your attention. And they repeated them often enough where people would go, oh, yeah, I remember that. So think about some of the favorite commercials you remember, perhaps from childhood. And there are things that the products are no longer even available today, but I still remember. So even things like Captain Crunch, Lucky Charms, things like that. It's like, I haven't eaten those cereals in decades, but I still remember them because they caught my attention. That was animated short form video back before it was really cool. And before we had the tools to
Happy
make it
holidays and
convenient.
thanks for being part of our
All right,
community.
so we're going to play him in just a minute. One of the tools that's available is a tool called Synthesia. And Synthesia is a little expensive, but there are other platforms that allow you to do something similar with a less expensive fee. And I'm not promoting a specific product, but I just want you to know what's out there. What Synthesia does is it allows you to animate almost like a PowerPoint, but then it has a human looking avatar that can either speak in your voice or someone else's. So here's our holiday card.
On behalf of the Lavender Dragon team, we hope your days are merry and bright and that you enjoy time with friends and family.
And so that is an example of a short form animated video that took me about 15 minutes to create. And so I just like building a PowerPoint, I'm like, okay, what kind of background do I want? What's the message? And then I have Santa talking to my clients. I'm going to pause a moment for questions, comments, concerns, thoughts.
And so I'm watching the chat. I don't see any questions yet, but it's just a good time to remind everybody that If you do have questions, please drop them into the chat and I'll make sure we get them answered.
Excellent. All right, so say goodbye to Santa Claus. Why video? It's low cost to create. It's popular with online audiences. You can send a powerful message using text, images, and sound. And depending on the platform you use, it can also be interactive. So are any of you familiar with apps like Tolstoy or Vouch? Okay, so Tolstoy and Vouch are relatively new to the marketplace. They allow you to create a short video message and then put in some questions. And you can then, based on what your user clicks, so let's say you wrote a cookbook and you could record yourself saying, "Hi, this is Mary. I'm the author of the Ballroom Dancing Cookbook. Today, would you like to learn about adding some cha-cha to your salsa?" Or, something like that. And I could have 2 or 3 little bubbles. You click on one of those bubbles and it pops up another short video that's like, "Hey, great. I'm so glad you want to add some cha-cha to your salsa. Here's my favorite salsa recipe. If you want to learn more, go buy my book." So you can do that using an app like Tolstoy. Vouch allows you to create a recorded message and have video conversations with your audience by posting some questions, and then they can respond back with answers. So again, you're promoting your book. What's the, let's say it's a series of, it's a third book in a cozy series. And it's like, okay, what do you think is going to happen to Hannah Hand Grenade in, episode 3 of this book, chapter 3? And so your audience can actually go back and record a message saying, "Oh, I think this is going to happen. I think this is going to happen." You don't have to respond back in real time, but it helps you engage with your audience and it feels like it's happening in real time for them. And currently, Vouch has got a free plan, so it's really cool to just go out and play with it. So it's another way to bring yourself, your content, and your audience and connect everybody. And so that's where that interactive piece comes in.
So Mary, we do have a question.
Sure.
What would be the best platform for advertising children's books? I think
Oh,
that'd be a great marriage either way.
yeah. So the first thing that I would say is it, when you're advertising your children's book, is it the parent or the adult that's buying the children's book? Or is it a book where you want the child to get excited to say, "Hey, guardian, parent, grandma, grandpa, this is what, I want you to buy me." Because that's the other piece of it is you want to go where the buying audience is. And so most children under 10 probably don't have a bank account where they can go out and buy their own book. So you really are appealing to the person that has the purchasing decision. I would probably say Facebook.
Yeah, that's where my gut was telling me too. Yeah.
And then, they might share it with the children. Now, the other thing though is there are some digital communities for children, but you run into these issues, and I am not a digital lawyer, but I just know from creating content, you have to be very careful when you're putting out content for children under the age of 13. There's all kinds of additional rules. So I would say go to where the buying person is going to be, the parent, the guardian, the teacher, rather than appealing to the child.
Sounds great. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, come here, little. So education and training videos, and this is a perfect segue to the question about children's books too. Online training and education are going to continue to grow over the next several years with an estimated 10% growth each year for at least the next 3 to 4 years. And there's several $billion of revenue being made in the online course business. Now that also includes K-12 and colleges and universities that offer online courses. But again, many people are taking courses online. They're buying courses from authors. They're buying courses about marketing, about dogs, cats, children, child rearing, all kinds of things. And so consuming educational content is another way to reach your audience and share your knowledge. This little video clip is one that we built for the Epilepsy Foundation. So it's a way for them to engage their audience without being too scary. And so this is an animated video.
Janet has epilepsy, and she is having a seizure. Would you know how to help her? Stay calm, it's going to be fine. Press next to learn more about seizure first aid.
So again, short, under 30 seconds, it drives the point home, it captures your attention, and this is a great way to go, oh, you know what? Maybe I really need to learn more about seizure first aid. Ah, stop it. So when you're going to create your animated video, the first thing you want to do is brainstorm ideas, very similar to the writing process. What do you want your video to be about? What is that audience that you're trying to capture? Are you trying to sell your book? Are you trying to promote a new book that's being launched? Are you trying to just gauge some interest from the audience? So you want to brainstorm some ideas. The next thing you want to do, and we're actually going to do some hands-on playing so you can see this process in life and look at some of the other softwares. Write a script. I know that for a lot of folks, when they do live videos, it's like unscripted. I don't need it. I'm just going to talk. I'm going to say what comes out of my mouth. When you're creating an animated video, whether it was the one you saw with Santa Claus or the ones you saw with, for example, Epilepsy Foundation, you need to write a script, because if you're going to have voiceover, whether it's yourself, whether it's AI, computer generated voices, or whether it's, just text on the screen, you have to have a consistent, coherent message. The other part of that script is you have to gather your assets. So if you're writing a book that is not illustrated, it's not as important to have a list of oh, I need this picture, I need this picture. If I'm doing an illustrated child's book or children's book, I also need to know okay, in my mind, this is what I'm envisioning for the big bad wolf. This is what I'm envisioning for the child. This is what I'm envisioning for the kitchen, because that illustrator has to have something to work with. With an animated video, it's the same thing. Think about going to the grocery store, you have your recipe, and now you have to get your ingredients. So what kind of background do I want? What color background? Is there going to be music? Is the music digitally safe, where it's not got a copyright attached to it? Because if I post this on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you don't want your video taken down and flagged because you didn't use either Creative Commons or digitally licensed music. And so you can get a hit against you and say, uh-oh, you use music you're not supposed to use. So there are some things to think about. I see a question just popped up in the chat. What kind of budget do you need for creating animated videos?
Yes. What kind of
So,
range are we looking at?
so if you want to do it yourself, your range is anywhere from free to probably about $1,500 a year for a license for the software. And so I'm going to show some different softwares.
Okay.
If you hire an agency or an organization to do this, you can go on Fiverr and find people that will do these for you relatively inexpensively. You can also go to animation agencies that could charge you upwards of, $500 per finished minute of video content. So there's a gamut. It depends on your budget and what you're looking for. But if you do it yourself, I recommend starting out with some of the low-end software. So for example, on Facebook, you'll often see pop-up messages that go, ooh, get an unlimited lifetime license for Toonly for $79. And Toonly is a really good place to start. It lets you do the animations. It lets you have some fun with it. It lets you post your videos, and
Can
you
you
own the
spell that?
rights.
I'm sorry. Can you
Sure.
spell that?
It's Toonly.
Okay, I'll add that in there. And that reminded me, though, you were talking earlier before I interrupted you about the music side of it. Are there websites where people can go and get royalty-free music?
Yes, there are websites where people can go get royalty-free music. The other thing you can do is if you do a Google search for music and then go to tools and select Creative Commons, anything that is really listed as Creative Commons is generally, you got to read the licensing, but it's generally created for share and share alike. And many of them will also say you can use this for free. You can even use it if it's something that you're selling. So that applies to images. It applies to video. Also, sites like Pixels and Pexels, and those are now adding Creative Commons or free music that is licensed that you can use.
You know, now that you say that, there's one called Pixabay that I
Yes.
sometimes, yeah, and I think they have it on there too. Yeah.
Yes, so several of those sites. And again, if you're doing a Google or a Bing search and you change your search parameters to show Creative Commons licensed, that's another way to look at it. Again, before you just download and start using it, I recommend, looking at what the license says. Is it share and share like okay for commercial? Another good place is Wikimedia Commons, which a lot of folks aren't aware of. So most of you have heard of Wikipedia. Wikimedia Commons is part of Wikipedia. It has generally older images, but it also has music, video clips, that type of thing. So that's another source that often has open source or Creative Commons licensed materials that you can use.
That's great info. Thank you.
You're welcome. Looks like we have a few more questions in the chat.
Oh, that
So,
was
yeah.
me just
Okay,
adding.
that was you. Okay, cool. All right, so you're going to write a script. You're going to find the animation tool you want to use. You're going to build your video. So the first thing I want to say, though, is when you start to build your video, please keep in mind that your first couple of videos are going to be frustrating. You're going to say, why am I doing this? And I can't stand what I've created. And that is normal whenever you're learning a new skill. So whether it's the first time you make a recipe, whether you're learning to ballroom dance, whether you're picking up a hobby, just know that it gets easier, because you as you start to do it longer, you're going to find some tricks. It's just like on a computer. Everyone has their shortcuts that they use on a computer. So some people like to right click, some people like to, control click, some people like to command click. If you're on an Apple, it's, those keyboard commands. Same thing with the video. There's keyboard commands that hang out there, and so you can have an easier time of it. So we're going to explore. Budget friendly, Animoto is one. Doodly and Toonly are another. Powtoon is another one, and Biteable. And each of these, and there's plenty others out there, but these are all ones that I have personally used myself, so I feel comfortable talking about them. Each of them has a sort of flavor that goes with it. Biteable is a relatively inexpensive license, and they do have a free version that has the Biteable branding on it. Great place to start. Really hard to mess it up because you don't have the ability to change as many items. You can change backgrounds, you can pick characters, and it's pretty much template driven, but it's a really good way to test the waters. When you move into some things like Powtoons, Doodly Toonly, it gets to be a little bit more complex in terms of you can add more assets, you can add more music, you can control the movement a little bit more. So those are options to think about. It also is like, what is your comfort level with dealing with technology? And, I spend probably on an average week, 20 to 30 hours in these kind of animation softwares. So for me, it's just like, oh yeah, it's no big deal. Go here, go do this, but I still get frustrated. So that's another thing to keep in mind. A slightly more expensive option would be software like Vyond or Synthesia. And again, expense being relative. For me, it's a cost of doing business, but I also create lots of videos per year. So, you may not want to jump right into something like that, but both of these are phenomenal softwares depending on what you want to create. So this little digital business card here, this was created in Vyond. This is an animated custom character that I created to look like myself. I'm talking on the phone, and so I can pop this on my phone. And when I meet somebody, I can just send them my digital business card instead of a physical business card. And I'm hoping I'm still sharing my screen because I'm notorious for not doing that. So hopefully
I
you can see
see
what I'm
it.
talking
Yeah.
about. Okay. But you can customize it with your email, your phone number, your web address. And then I even put a little QR code on it that takes them to our business website. So the School of Techno is our Thinkific school, where I have other classes on animation and things like that. But if you scan the QR code, it takes you to our company website. So that's just one of the things that you can do with this animation software. This is another one that we're going to recreate after I show you some of these sites to promote a book. And I did this totally off the cuff. This was a template. I went in and customized the colors. So that's an example of something you could do. Now, you would, of course, customize the message to your book. You could create a custom character to match your book. You could do all these other things, but I just wanted to have something to show you that, like, this is a 20-second video that you could use, let's say in a Facebook story or an Instagram story, because it also fits within those limits that those platforms have. And it's different. A lot of people aren't doing these kind of things. People are putting up still images with text, or they're doing live video. This is something that's going to grab your attention and go, oh, I didn't think about that. Questions so far?
Pam mentioned that she loved that little 20 seconds that you just shared.
Oh, excellent. Yay. So yeah, it's, so again, like, you could do things, use the same template, create a template for yourself and create a whole series for your audience to launch your book during the sales phase, to generate more sales, to promote content within the book. You could have the book cover, the book open, and an image pop up out of it, for example. So again, there's all kinds of fun things you can do, and it's relatively painless and simple. So,
Spoken like someone who loves technology.
well, I do love technology, but if you can do PowerPoint in a lot of these, if you can build a PowerPoint, you can build something like this. So here is one that I just did as a thank you. And that's another thing that you can do, is Connie Whitman, who some of you may know. She is kind of spearheading the Ready, Connect, Grow book. So she talked me into being a chapter, and she referred me to someone that is potential future business. So what I did is I created this little thank you for her, and I used a template. I changed the colors, added her logo. I already had a Connie figure, and this is
That looks
something
like Connie. Yeah.
So, this is something that she could now send in a thank you message to people who sign up for her live workshop. So again, thinking of creative ways to use animated video. If you did a pre-launch book workshop, if you did a Facebook Live and you were able to capture people's email addresses, if they came to your website and gave you their name and their email address, you could create this short little animation that's like, thank you for your interest in my book. And it's just different from what everyone else is currently doing.
Exactly. What was the program that you used in the previous slide for Connie's book? Yeah.
That was Vyond that I used for all of these, that I showed on the previous slide. And for
spell
this,
that again for us.
Sure, it's Vyond.
OND, like beyond, but
yes,
yeah.
beyond, but with a V.
Gotcha.
And this used to be called Go Animate. So you may occasionally run across ads for that. But what I did is, and can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Well, because sometimes when you change from like one application to another, it goes away. So this is another one that we've done. And for everyone that is here today, I will be happy to, as long as we all agree on what day we're coming back into the office or what message we want on it, I can send this to all of you. But this is just something that we're putting in our email to say that we're closed for the holidays.
Ooh, I could use that one. And I'll even give you all the credit. Yes.
But again, it's just sort of like, it's something short, it's different, it captures people's attention. Yes, I have an out of office message, but this is really nice because it's like, hey, it's something happy and cheerful. And then let's just I want to share with you. So Rachel is a colleague of mine, and she is on TikTok. And so she does a lot of Vyond on TikTok. So I just wanted you to see what it would look like. And she does these different challenges. So we're going to come over here.
We got work to do. There's just not time for singing and dancing right now. We got work.
I don't really want to do the work today. I don't really want to do the work today. I don't really want to do the work today. I don't want to do the work today.
What? What's this?
Uh-oh, I don't really want to do the work today. I don't really want to do the work today. I don't really want to do the work today. I don't want to do the work today.
We got
Cute.
And so the software allows you to apply movements to the characters so that you don't have to know a lot of programming. You can just go in and say, okay, I don't want to do the work today. I want them to raise their hands. I want to put this music track in there. So if I were to come in and build a quick video for you, I could also import a PowerPoint and bring that to life. All of the softwares that I mentioned, and Kathy, I'll send you my slide deck too that has links to these softwares as well. You can also upload a photo of yourself and create a kind of, it looks like you, or you can create a custom character of yourself and you build the character from scratch. So if I wanted to build a character, I could come over here, and who wants me to build you? First person to raise their hands.
Let's see, if there's no volunteers, I'll do it.
Pam's raising her hand. Okay, so
cool.
we can come over here, and I have all these different face types. So we can see what it looks like. It's like, okay, you know, no, you don't have, you've got kind of a chin
Totally
like
make me into a supermodel or Wonder Woman.
We can do that. You can pick your skin color, your skin tone. From there, you can come down here and pick your hairstyle. So if you want to be, well, what if we make you like Santa's elf for right now? So I can do that, and then I can come back and change your hair color so you're a little bit more brown. And then I can come over here, I can pick a mouth for you. So like, do you want lips like this? And then I can choose your lipstick color. So we want to have the same lipstick as Santa's hat. So I can just click the little paintbrush, and now my lips match my hat. And so this is how we can create custom, almost custom characters. We've got ears. Like, do you wear earrings? Up here, let's give you a little ornament
bling.
earrings.
Little bling.
Totally.
Yeah.
A lot of bling. A lot of bling. It's
Not a
December.
Okay.
little, not a little.
So
And I
then we
think
can.
I think she needs cowboy boots.
Okay, well, we'll see if we have some cowboy boots, but we've got all these different tops. So you said superhero. So we can
Yes.
give you that. And again, I can come over here. See these two squares with the white line? This lets me change your colors. So let's say that you wanted to be, this totally goes against my grain because red and green should never go together, but you're going to be an elf. So now we've changed you to red and green. So that's how simple it is to do that. Come over here to bottoms, and I can pick out, do you want to be, oh, here we go. We're going to put you, you're going to be a Santa's elf. And then we've got some options for, unfortunately, they don't have any cowboy boots, but we can give you little elf slippers.
Okay.
There we go.
And then
Oh my
you just, so again, you could really go down a rabbit hole with this, or you could just do something quick. So we're going to say Pam Wilson character.
Totally cute. Thank you. You made
You're
my
welcome.
day. You
And
made my day.
I will send it to Kathy so she can get it to you, because then you can go in and put her in a video. So now I come over here, and it stores in this little folder all my custom characters.
Now, are you still in Beyond?
I am still in Beyond.
Okay.
And so now if we want, we can say, okay, happy. So now I've got all these different things of happy. So you're going to jump for joy. And then
I
I'm
love
gonna
that.
do fireplace. So then I could build out a whole scene. So that's why I was saying you want to have your script, but now I can build out this whole scene, and
I love that.
so, if we had a little bit more time, we could, and Pam, feel free to message me. I'll do this with you, but we could just, you could build out just your cute little holiday message or something. And Vion does have a free trial. So Kathy, I'll send you a link to that where people can get the free trial, because you could go in and build something for yourself for the holidays or for whatever, and just kind of play around with it. But it's different from what typical audiences are used to seeing. And so that's where I really feel that there's this power in the animation. And it looks like we've,
Yeah, we
got
got a
some
couple
questions.
questions. I think you're going to say the same thing. So the first one is, are you able to add a photo and animate the photo?
Not yet in Beyond. It's coming in 2023. They have made a whole lot of updates to Beyond, and so I'm really excited for what's going to be released next quarter. Right now, now that was sort of a lie. Let's say I did want to bring a photo in. When you say animate, it depends on what you mean by animate. So this is the logo for Connie's book. What I can do is add some enter things to it. So for example, maybe I want it to pop. And if I play it, it does pop. So you can
Okay.
animate like that. You can also add what's called a motion path. So let's say you wanted to bounce it across the screen or something, you can do that.
And the next question we had, let me get back up here, scroll back up. What information would you incorporate into a 1-minute video for a children's picture book in order to get a call to action to purchase the book?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, I would, if you have, okay, so pardon me for a moment because I'm going to go tech talk. If you have the SVG files of some of the characters in your book, you can import them into software like this and animate them. If you just have a regular JPEG or PNG, you could also import them, but you're limited to more of the like, you know, bouncing in, that type of action. Whereas with the SVG, you can actually give them reactions. And then I would tell a story. I would tell a 45-second story about, you know, maybe you take the main character of the children's book and have them go on a little adventure. And then you leave a cliffhanger that says, do you want to know more about what happens to little Timmy? Did he fall down the well? What about Lassie? And then the call to action is, you know, buy the book now.
With a link. Can you
With a
embed
link.
links? Can you put links in these?
You can put links in these, yes.
Okay, awesome. That's
So
true.
that's, you know, it's really about storytelling, which is authors. That's your area of expertise. Like I have more of the technical expertise to make it come to life, but the storytelling is really where it's at. Couple of other ones I just wanted to show you. So this is Powtoon. It's a slightly different style. And it's more templated, but it does give you an opportunity to, again, kind of play with it. So here, it's more just things pop. It's sort of like a PowerPoint sped up. You can change some things. You've got some templates, and then it builds the video for you. Very similar to Biteable as well. So it's much more templated, which is a great place to start. Beyond is more expensive, but it does give you a lot more opportunities for customization.
Mhm.
So there's that one. Then this is Animoto. This is another one. This uses a lot more video background with some storytelling. So it's animated in the sense that there's movement and there's motion, but it's not, again, like custom animated characters. As you can see, it's images that are popping up on the screen. You pull from a library of videos that they provide to you as a customer and then create these. But again, eye-catching, grabs people's attention, a little bit different than what people are currently doing.
Well, and that's the whole point, I think, with social media and videos is, I mean, there's thousands that are loaded
Exactly.
constantly. And how does your post get noticed over the next one?
And that's exactly it. So this is Biteable, and this is where we first started.
Gee, that's a tough one. I reckon my favorite place has to be El Cap in Yosemite. I've been there more times than I can remember, and the view at the top is seriously special.
So that's another approach. And again, very affordable, low cost, where they could meet you as an author. They could meet your characters. You could tell them a little bit about the book and notice that there was a combination of live video that was recorded, so it really wasn't live, animated, and music. So not a lot of talking, but text on the screen grabs people's attention.
We've got another quick question.
Sure.
Kim's asking, and I think this was referring to the one maybe that had the video in it.
Oh,
Kim's asked, what kind of file was it?
SVG.
There you go.
And I was at a conference just a couple months ago, and one of the things that they were saying that was really interesting that you also may want to keep in mind is that the younger audiences are relying more on closed captions and text on screen than they are to listening to voices. So if you do videos, having that text on the screen, that's what they're used to. And I don't know if it's because of video games, if it's because things like TikTok are automatically captioned, but I know even my son who's in his 20s doesn't listen to things, they just watch what's popping up on the screen. So again, having music with words on the screen can be really powerful. And then the last one I wanted to show you is Synthesia, which I had mentioned earlier. And again, it's really simple. You can create a video by importing a PowerPoint. If you already have one of those, you can pick a character, you type in your script, and then if you don't want to use your own voice, they have all of these voices that you can choose from. So if you want to sound British, if you want to be Canadian, if you want to be whatever, you can pick the voice. They're AI generated. And then again, I'm not going to build out this whole video here, but I could add text on the screen. I could change the background with a background image. These videos take a little bit longer to render because there's more processing involved because it is machine learning, but it's a lot of fun. Similar to Synthesia, elai.io is another platform that allows you to create these kind of videos as well. There typically is a cap to the length of your video and how many videos you can create though with these machine learning platforms versus something like Biteable, Beyond, Animoto, Powtoon, just because again, the processing that has to go in behind it to make it work.
And what's typically the longest video that you want to put out there on something like Facebook?
The recommendation from people like TechSmith, who's one of the leaders on video creation, 5 to 7 minutes is about the sweet spot. If you're doing it as a marketing or you're going for short form video, generally under 2 minutes is going to be where you want to be.
Awesome.
And like TikTok has a cap on how long your video can be. It used to be 30 seconds and then they expanded it and then they expanded it a little bit more. But you know, after about 2 minutes, people are scrolling, they're swiping, they're trying to move on to that next thing.
One more quick question. What's the
Sure.
name of the software similar to Synthesia?
elai.io.
ELA.io.
elai.io. I popped it in the chat too.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. And just for fun, if anyone ever wants to just like see like what other new software is out there, what are people doing? Product Hunt is a great resource because it's where companies who are trying new software go. So that's where I learned about Tolstoy. That's where I learned about Vouch. ELA.io is on there right now, and people upvote or downvote whether or not they like the product. And most of the companies have free trials or a free license on Product Hunt. So it's a great way if you want to kind of dip your toe in the water and go, ooh, let me check this out.
That's awesome.
So I know
So
we're almost out of time. Kathy, any last questions? And I will send you the PowerPoint and I'll send you the link to the giveaway for folks. And where'd Pam go? Pam, I'll send you your little elf person. And then Kathy, I'll make you an out of office. And if anyone else wants that out of office, let me know. I will be happy to
thank you.
send it
Yeah.
to you, Kathy, and you can share it.
That's awesome. Now you had also mentioned something about picking a number.
Yes. So all right, I'm going to message you privately, Kathy. And this is the number. All right. So there you go. And if everyone types a number in the chat, whoever comes closest pick a number between 1 and 20, whoever comes closest to the number that I sent Kathy, I will private message you before we wrap up and we will create a short little 20-second promo video for you.
Looks like we have a winner.
I
Right
think
on.
so.
Yep. That's awesome. Oh, do we get to announce the?
Yeah,
the
go
person?
ahead because I'll have to message too. So
Okay, so Sheila Buswell. And actually, I was going to ask if your hand up was raised because you were agreeing to something, or did you have a question? Congratulations, Sheila. Sheila may
I
not. be-
wasn't the only one who picked 7. Somebody else picked 7. So I don't know how you do that. You want us to pick another number. And I'm a dumbass and I don't know how to lower my hand. I don't know how to use Zoom after 3 years of doing it. Sorry.
that's okay. All right. So Pat and okay, I'll do both. Pat and Sheila both pick 7. So I
Awesome.
will.
There it is, both of you.
Thank you. Thanks so
Because-
much. And this was really good because first of all, I hate being on camera and the idea of doing a animation's awesome. So and this was very educational.
Excellent. I'm glad you
It's
found
like
it
we get to
useful.
create our alter ego.
Yes, and
Yes.
that's what is so fun. Oh, question. Do you have recommendations on what kind of animations are more effective to men or to women? Really the recommendation is that anything that is thoughtful and well done is going to appeal to both audiences. What I would look at is maybe doing some A/B testing. And if you're not familiar with A/B testing, it's like you create one version for one group and one version for the other. And what I would change would be the music. The other thing that I would recommend, and this is where I'm putting on my e-learning designer accessibility hat, because more of the population, more of the male population is colorblind than the female population. Also be very aware of color combinations. So for example, red and green together are really bad for men that are red-green colorblind. They're not going to be able to see the contrast. And there are several other kind of color combinations that you want to watch out for, but you could most probably get away with lighter colors, more pastel colors for a female audience or a younger audience. And then the other part, when you're creating your videos, look for fonts that are bold and easy to read, not real curly Q, funky fun fonts. Because if you're on your mobile device and you use like a 10-point font, you're going to lose your audience. And so think about who that end user is, larger, cleaner to read fonts, and then color contrast.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mary, for being here. I mean, it was fun. I learned a whole lot. I just want to remind everybody that we will be sending out links to the YouTube video if you wanted to see it again and catch any of the information. There was a bunch of information coming at us. I love that part. And we'll also send out a link how to contact Mary, as well as how to get her free download information that she's going to provide. And if you have any questions at all, please reach out to Mary or myself, and I'll connect you with Mary. And we look forward to seeing you in January. It's January 12th, and we'll be interviewing Darlene Hertz. She's a master NLP trainer, and we'll be talking about how to change our thinking and change our life and create a more happy day for each of us. So I look
Awesome.
forward to seeing you then. And thanks, guys. Enjoy your holidays.
Thank you. This has been so much fun. Have a wonderful rest of the month. Bye.
Thanks, Mary. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.